Hey folks, Paul Abernathy here. Welcome back to this exam prep series. You just finished watching video 1. Hopefully you learned a little bit about the basics in a journeyman style question, really learning the fundamentals, kind of getting used to looking at a question and dissecting it without using the index. You're kind of just looking at it and saying, well, what is the question asking me? And that's what that video was all about. If you didn't watch it, make sure you go watch that video and watch these in series because it is going to be beneficial to you as you maneuver up through the exam prep process. And I'm here to help you. And that's what our Fast Tracks programs are all about. So if you're watching this video and you're not familiar with our Fast Track, the questions that we're looking at today are part of our Fast Tracks program. And we have over 1,000 plus, probably close to about 1,600 exam prep style questions. But the real key here is the 19 units of learning that you get in our program. We're going to take you from the very beginning and we're going to walk you all the way through. Forget what you think you know, okay? Because this program is going to test that knowledge. And it's not just for exam prep, it's for anybody that wants to learn the National Electrical Code. If you just want to be a better electrician, or you're a leader of a company and you want to make sure your guys are doing things right, and you want to have less failed inspections, or maybe you want to be able to have an intelligent conversation, maybe a debate with another electrician or even an inspector, you really need to learn the code. And that's, again, I'm a believer in continuing education, always wanting to learn. We don't know it all. I don't know it all. So we want to always continue to learn. I mean, this is an amazing profession. And this is what education does. It keeps you engaged. It keeps you learning. And at the end of the day, it just makes your job easier because you become that person that can just do it, get you the answers quickly. And that's what our program's designed to do. I'm a bit selfish. I created this program not just to help you pass exam, but it's not like those cram courses or the books or DVDs that really don't give you in-depth information. Our course goes over and above. It gets deep. Yes, it does calculations. Yes, single family, multifamily, commercial. It gets deep. And I'm always here to answer your questions. And of course, you can join us on Wednesday nights as well. All right, let's go on and get into this, but I want to show you where you get our program. If you're interested in our Fast Tracks program, I want to make sure you understand where to go. So this is our website. You can see down below, Fast Track System. On our website, you can obviously go up here under courses, and you can see all of our programs. So budget courses we have available now. We have the continuing education. We have our Fast Tracks Black, our Plus, our Industrial, or so many courses depending on where you need to be. Now, if you happen to be studying for exam prep, then the easiest thing is to go up and just go to our Fast Tracks Black program or the Plus. Now, what's the difference? If you could just scroll down, if you're on a web browser. Now, if you're on your mobile phone, then it won't look exactly the same, okay? If you're on your mobile phone, I will show you this real quick. Just so you know, if I go to the mobile version, then this is what it's going to look like on your mobile version. So I just want to make it clear because some people say, well, it doesn't look the same. So this is kind of what your mobile version does. And if you scroll down, you'll see icons. Well, all you want to do if it's exam prep is what you're doing, then you just simply click the one that says test. You tap it, and that's all you do, and it'll take you right to the Fast Tracks page, and you can look between the Black, the Plus, and the budget and everything. Now, let me explain the difference between the Black and the Plus. It's the exact same course. It's our 19 units. You get me grading your work. You get a whole year access to it. You get the 1,000 plus questions. But here's the thing. It's the exact same. The Black and the Plus are exactly the same program. The only difference is the Plus gives you access to our exclusive video platform. It's not YouTube. It's not somebody else's. It's all controlled by us, and it only has videos selected by me personally. And it's not just me. There are other educators on there, but I have personally reviewed all of the videos, and that's what we're doing. We're basically sifting out the important videos. There's calculation videos, there's code change videos, there's fire alarm videos. There's a lot of stuff for everybody. That is Fast Tracks Tube. Now, the difference between the Black and the Plus is the Plus, I'm going to give you a year subscription to the Fast Tracks Tube as well. So that's a bonus, okay? And we just work the price into the cost of the course, right? Remember, the course itself, Fast Tracks Black or Plus, is the exact same exam prep course or NEC learning course. The Plus just gives you access to videos on our other platforms. That's the difference, okay? All right, kind of got that out of the way, but that's our website. Go check it out. We have some great blogs on here. Make sure you check out our blogs. We have a lot of calculation articles, different things like that. Also, what you should be getting, if you have not done it yet, you need to, whether you're in our program or not, and this is the last thing I'm going to sell you on, I promise, you need to click on this mobile app button. On our website, you'll see a link right here. When you go to your mobile phone, you click it. You download the app onto your phone, and that app on your phone is going to look like this, and it's got so many resources. It's got online calculators. It's got just so much there. You can read the blogs from here. You can go into our chat room from here. And here's another neat thing. If you don't like social media, but you want to learn something, you get the app, and there's a feature called Chat Now. Chat Now is very similar to like a TikTok without all the garbage. You know what I'm saying? We'll post things on here. You can post things on here. You can post up to 6 images at a time, and have people comment on them, critique them. I'm going to post stuff on there more now since we finished our little experiment on TikTok. I'm not on really TikTok anymore. We wanted to see before we decided this is where we wanted to go, and it's all on our mobile app, and it's free. It doesn't cost you anything to get our mobile app. You can get it right from our website, okay? All right, enough of that. All right, let's get to today, what we're going to be working on today. All right, folks, we're still going to be working on some journeyman, I think journeyman level questions as we're working through this multi-part series. And today we're going to look at them again. And today we're going to be, again, using our knowledge. Now, I'm not going to be using the index. You can use the index. I will give you some tips on how you may use the index, but we're not going to do that. We're going to try to do something a little different in this series where we're going to try to lock some of these concepts in our brain. And so I'm going to feed you different tips and things about it. And I might sound like I'm being overly verbal here, and people say, Paul, just get on with it. I get it. I am long-winded. But I've been doing this for 30 plus years. And if I look at the overall feedback I get, people like the way I teach it. And I know I'm 7 minutes into this and you're thinking, let's get going already. I get it. But I got to make a living. And for all you that buy our courses and support us or do our membership over on Fast Tracks Tube, I appreciate you. It keeps us able to do these things. It's a small amount to you, but it's huge for us. So we appreciate it. All right, let's get into this. All right, first thing we're going to look at, first question up. It says a 24-inch conduit nipple is permitted to be filled to blank percent of the total cross-sectional area. Okay. All right. So a couple triggers that come to mind here. You ready? We're talking about 24 inches, and the question already told me it's a nipple. Already said it's a nipple. By this point in your studying, unless you're brand new to studying or learning the code, you know right away that this is a raceway fill question. Okay. And you're looking at it and going, there's obviously a percentage. Now, the savvy electrical student will go, well, I know that there's a 40, there's a 53, okay? And, and there's a 60%, and then there, you look at it and there's a 31%. And you're sitting going, well, I don't see 31. I see a 40, I see 53, I see a 60. You might already know this answer. So this brings me to one important thing that I'll tell you about exam prep and in an exam. If you happen to see a question on an exam that you just flat out know the answer to, guess what? You answer it right away and you move on, because that's going to build you up some extra time in an exam. In the real world, you want to go ahead and look it up in the code. But there's two different worlds here. The exam, you're under a time crunch. That's why we train you with these things. And this is why I give you so many little things to think about, because what I'm going to tell you right here in a minute is going to be worth a lot of weight of knowledge when you're in the field or when you're in an exam. And it's going to forever lock it in your brain. You ready? Okay, let's go back. So in this case, we're looking at a raceway fill requirement, okay? And here it's talking about a nipple, right? We also know that it's talking about percentage fill. Where do we go for percentage fill? Now, you could go to the back of the index, but you should know by now, anytime you have a raceway fill calculation problem, the first place that you want to go is Chapter 9, Table 1. Because that's going to give you the different fill allowances, okay? And then you have associated notes that are going to give you additional direction. So this is an example of one of those I want to lock in your brain. When you hear something on an exam about raceway, tubing is a raceway, conduit is a raceway. When you start seeing this, I want you to think chapter 9, table 1. And there's various notes associated to give you additional guidance. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the NEC. All right, so let's go to the NEC. And we're going to go down to chapter 9 right here. And we're going to go right here. So this is it, percentage. Well, what does it say right here? Okay, you look at each one of these and it says, okay, number of conductors and or cables. So you've got one conductor, 53%, two conductors, 31%, over two, 40%, okay? We're all familiar with that. But where does it talk about the nipple? Well, go down to these notes right here. What do you see right here? Item number 4, it says, where conduit or tubing nipples, not including connectors, okay, have a maximum length not exceeding 24 inches are installed between boxes, cabinets, or similar enclosures, the nipples shall be permitted to be filled to 60% of their total cross-sectional area, okay? And it reminds us that 310.15c1 adjustment factors need not apply. Now, let me explain something to you. 310.15c1 is when you put a certain number of current carrying conductors in a raceway, it's going to affect the ampacity of those conductors, right? Due to mutual heating. Well, this is saying, look, it's only 24 inches long. Since it's this short, it's going to allow heat to dissipate, or that conductor is going to act as a wicking effect, and it's going to pull that heat out, and you're not going to have a problem. So I get to ignore 310.15c1. Hey, it's a beautiful thing for the nipple. But you still can't fill the nipple more than 60%. Now, here's a tip. This is automatically done for you in a sense, right? When it comes to basically finding out what's the size of the raceway, and you still have to do the calculation to find out how many conductors I can put in there. But I want you to show you there is a 60-degree column. And to show you that, I'll go down right here, and I'll give you an example. So this is for ENT, right? And we'll go over, and here you see, okay, 60%, and there's your square inch value, which is your approximate area. And here you see all the values down this column right here. Okay, so when you're taking the conductors and you're doing chapter 9, table 5, and you're taking THHN, and you're finding out what the inch square is of it, the approximate area, using the approximate area column, not the approximate diameter, approximate area. And you go over it and you say, well, how many of these can I put in this raceway? Well, you could take this 60 value here and you could divide that by the number of conductors of if they're all the same size, and that'll tell you the maximum number you could have in there and not exceed the 60%. You with me? So it's so important to remember these things. 60% fill for nipples. 31% fill if you have two conductors. One conductor is 53%. Over two, which is probably what you're going to run into the most of the time, is going to be 40%. I cannot fill that raceway with conductors that would add up to more than 40%. In this case, a nipple, we could put as much up to 60%, but we can't exceed it. Make sense? A lot of valuable information there to remember. Just think, nipples, 60. Over two conductors, 40. One conductor, 53. And by the way, there's also a note 9 in there in this table that talks about putting cables inside of raceways. If it's a complete system, that means box to box, then it treats a cable as a single conductor and you can't exceed 53%. Okay? And there's a calculation that allows you to calculate. Pi divided by 4 times the diameter squared is the formula to determine what the approximate area is for a cable inside of a raceway. Okay? It's important stuff because there's also a note 2 that says, look, if it's just a piece of raceway and it's not connected to boxes, then it's only there for physical protection, then you don't have to worry about that. There's so much to look at. Take the time and go to chapter 9, table 1, and look at all those notes and really try to understand the notes. It's going to serve you great dividends, not only on an exam, but in the real world, in the field, okay? All right, a little more explanation on that one, but I felt it was necessary for us to kind of go into the details, dig into the weeds a little bit, get you a little more familiar with Chapter 9, Table 1, and the various notes. Of course, I do have videos, folks, over on Fast Tracks Tube that talks about raceway fill, and we cover all of that in an exhaustive detail. I'd love you to become a subscriber on that platform. It's only $99 a year. We lowered the price, or you can do month to month. If you want to do month to month, that's up to you, but it really does help us. A lot of people send us donations. I don't want the donations. I'd prefer you to become a subscriber. That way you get something out of it, right? That's what I prefer, but we appreciate you nonetheless. All right, so 60, there you go. Chapter 9, Table 1, Note 4. Beautiful. All right, let's do another question here. All right, now, let's look at this one. It says the minimum radius using a one-shot bender, okay, so it says one-shot bender, okay, bender at 1 trade size. People say 1 inch, but it's really 1 trade size, but here it's kind of says 1 inch. EMT is blank. And you got to think about this question. Okay, I'm going to give you a little tip. If you ever see an exam question, first thing, it's talking about minimum radius bending, okay? And then it's talking about a one-shot bender, or it doesn't say something like a full shoe bender and all this kind of stuff. Where do you need to go? Okay, so this is one where I could go back into the index, okay, and start digging around. For example, I could go back here and say, okay, is there anything under one shot? Well, I'm gonna do it. I said I wasn't, but I'm gonna do it because I wanna give you something here that you just need to commit to memory, okay? But I'm gonna go look real quick and see if there's anything under this. And you should do it too. You should be pausing this video anytime and go and look. Okay, so I'm gonna see if there's anything under one shot just to see, because that just seems like, okay, well, is that unique or not? And I'm gonna look, and it may or may not. And I don't see anything under one or anything for one shot. Okay, so that wouldn't help us. Next is radius. Okay, so I'm gonna look, see if there's anything maybe under radius. And I'm doing this for points, so just bear with me. All right, so I'm gonna go look under radius, and let's see if I see anything under radius. I got raceways. Let's see here. I've got nothing under radius that I see. Okay, nope, nothing under radius. Okay, you're thinking, oh crap, this is one of those questions, right? We're thinking, okay, well, what about EMT? So I'm gonna go look under EMT. Bear with me, folks. You might find it somewhere, but I'm doing this for a reason. And I said I wasn't going to use the index, but I have to illustrate something I want you to commit to memory. So I'm going to go look under EMT, electrical metallic tubing, and see if I see anything. Okay. All right, so electrical EMT, and I'm looking at bends. This question asks about bender. So it's talking about radius, so you have to think it's a bend, right? And then you go under bends and it sends you to 358.24, 358.26, then it sends to Chapter 9, Table 2, okay? Why is that important? All right, I'm gonna show you, because we're gonna go look at those references. So this was specifically about EMT, but I'm gonna blow the beans for you. You always wanna go, there's a table in Chapter 9, Table 2, that talks about this, okay? And so you want to make sure that you put that in memory, that if you get a question that's asking for minimum radiuses and it says something about a one shot or full shoe or anything like that, think Chapter 9, Table 2. Chapter 9, Table 2. But we're going to use the NEC and the index because I said I'd do it for a reason. Under EMT, you'll see it says bender. Now we're going to go to 358.24. Now watch the process here, because I want you to realize that the NEC is not always, the index is not always the holy grail, but it can benefit you. Let's go here first. And I'm going to go to 352. Bear with me as I squint my way through this. And I know see out there says, Paul, you need to just get a bigger, screen. There are huge screens. I still can't see. Okay. So again, save me the criticism because it's just not going to help me. Let's see here. Go ahead. So we're going to go to, what was it? 24 first. So here we're at 24. Okay. And what does it say right here? You ready? The radius of a curve of any field bend to the center line of the tube shall not be less than shown in Table 2, Chapter 9 for what? One shot and full shoe benders. Oops, sorry, I wasn't high enough. There. The index worked, but you have to know where to go. We looked at radius. There's nothing. We looked under, I think we looked under bender. There was nothing. We looked under the wiring method to get us there, right? Now, if you know bends, which is typically .24 in most of the raceway articles, then you could have gone there and you would have found this and it would ultimately send you. But you have to understand, do you know what a full shoe is or a one shot? These are when you're making in the field bends. Okay. Now, if you buy manufactured stuff, bends that are already made, they're already going to understand this. They're already designed. These are for when you make bends in the field. Okay. And you can't be less than what is given here in Chapter 9, Table 2. Okay. With that said, we got to answer the question. But the second reference in here was 358.26. So while we're here, we're going to look at it. And there isn't a 358.26. You know why? Because I'm using the 2020. And this is the 2023. So that's an example of something's missing. So when people ask me, can I use a 2020 to take a 2023 exam? You probably could. But there will be things that are missing, changed, and moved around, and it could get you frustrated. Okay? So we're going to go down, and we're going to go to Chapter 9. And we're going down here, and we're going to go down, and we're going to go to Table 2. And here it is, right here. Here is Table 2, right there. Radius of conduit and tubing bends, and we have one shot and full shoe, right? And what was the size of ours? Ours was 1 inch, or trade size 1. Remember? Just so you know, I'll go back to the question. So here's it right here. It's a one shot bender for 1 inch EMT. Makes sense? All right. So we're going to go back to the code. And so here it is. It's 1 inches right here. Let's go over. And this looks like 5 3/4. That's our answer. So let's go back to the question. 5 3/4. And there's our reference. Chapter 9, Table 2. Again, I get it. I'm long-winded. But if you let what I say soak in, it's going to make so much sense for you. Okay? All right, let's go to the next question. All right, the diameter of a 1.5 EMT conduit is. So it's a diameter question, right? It's not necessarily asking us fill or anything like that. It's just basically saying, okay, it's a 1.5 trade size EMT. What's the diameter? And you're thinking, it's one of these. Where do you go? All right, well, remember we were doing what we've done in previous questions? We know that all the information about our raceways, whether it's the fill percentages or whatnot, this is kind of stuff you need to start plugging in. It was all back there in where? In Chapter 9. And you're thinking, that makes sense. Table 4? Because Table 5 is the conductors, Table 4 is the different raceways. Let's do this. Let's go back into the code. And we're already kind of back here anyway, right? So it was for EMT. So we want to make sure that we're going here. So here we are. This is Table 4, okay? And we'll be looking for, what is this for? All right, this is, there you go, EMT. Okay, you can verify that. It's Article 358, okay? So now what we're working with is like, we don't care about this stuff. 60%, we're not, that's not gonna, that, we don't care about that. All right, so it's asking, the question is the diameter, okay? So you have a nominal internal diameter, right? But it's just saying the diameter. That is the closest thing that we can get to, okay? It didn't say the diameter. It's talking about, when we think of raceways, we're concerned about the part that's inside of it, right? So when I'm looking for this, I'm thinking, well, you know, what do I have to do with, you know? What am I working with? And you're like, all right, well, I have to think of which the reference that it gives me diameter. It's important, folks. Don't get lost in the question. You might be thinking diameter, it's to the outside. The usable diameter that we're talking about is the portion towards the inside of it, okay? So we see the word diameter. This is reference to diameter. That's where we want to be. You're going to get questions on an exam that you just say, well, I don't like that question. All I can tell you at that point is you have to suck it up and realize you're going to get questions that you do not like and you do not agree with, but they are what they are. You try to answer them the best you can. Okay? It's just an exam. That's it. All right. So if we go back to the code, and we're asking about a 1.5. So let's see if I can get us back over here. So here we are. Here's the only reference to diameter we have. And of course, let's see, we need to find out the row that's for the 1.5, which is right here. So I'm just kind of do this so I make sure I'm on the same row when I get over there. All right, so here we go. So let me continue this on so I don't get lost on what row I'm at. All right, right here. So there's our answer. 1.610. That is the answer. The only answer it could be, right? Okay, so we're going to go back to our lesson. And the only answer available that it could be is that one right there. And where's the answer? Chapter 9, Table 4 for Article 358. Folks, just kind of that simple, but you have to try to fight the urge. It's a better way for me to say that. Let me get back to me here. Fight the urge to bring in common sense, if you will, to an exam. Don't. Just focus on the exam. Take what they give you, right? You might go looking up a motor in the FLC for single phase in 430.248, and it says it's 115 column, but the question is 120 volts. But you went and looked up the FLC for that motor, and it was under the 115. So your mind says, well, then I'm going to find the VA, I'm going to take what? I'm going to take those amps times 115, because that's what's in the table. No. If the exam question gave it as 120, then you want to use what the exam gave you, because that's what they probably did. There's a reason they do it that way. Do not let your mind start to say, well, that's not how I would do it. Or that's wrong. This test is wrong. Who cares about the test? You just want to give them what they want so you can pass it and move on. Okay? In the real world, these things aren't going to matter, because you know that it doesn't matter, that if it's a 115 in this table, that it says at the title of the table that it also applies to 120 volt applications. Okay? So we use 120 as a nominal. Okay? So don't let the exam kind of draw you into common sense. Just answer what they ask, and your life is going to be so much better, I promise you. Okay, you got to remember, people write questions, they don't always write the best questions. But you have to be able to look at it and say, yeah, I'm just going to answer this the way they expect it, that type of thing. All right, let's do another one. All right, the cross-sectional, 100% cross-sectional area for a 1 1/4 IMC intermediate metal conduit is blank square inches. Well, the reason I'm giving you this one next is because your mind, your little spidey senses, okay, should have gone off and says, whoa, I was just there in the area where I needed to think about what's the 100% of the cross-section area. Now, we know we can only fill up a certain amount of that, but if you get a question that wants to know what's the cross-sectional area of a 1 in, like I might ask you a question on an exam. I might give you a certain number of conductors, right? And throw you, man. I might tell you there's 4 THHNs and 4 aughts, and I might tell you all this, but then my question might go, what is the total cross-sectional area of that 1 1/4 IMC? And here's what you start to do. You start calculating it out and thinking, well, there's more than 2, so I got 40%. And the question's just trying to find out what's that total cross-sectional area, not the remaining cross-sectional area, just what's the total cross-sectional area. Don't let it get you, okay? 1 1/4 IMC. Let's go to the code. We're already here, so let's go to intermediate metal conduit right here. And again, right here, Total area. That's what the question didn't ask you the fill, didn't ask you what the remaining fill was. Be very aware of questions like that, because that is the easiest type of question to ask, is give you a lot of fluff and then turn around and bam, hit you with a simple question. So in this case, it was 1 1/4. So we got to do like we did before. I need to make sure I'm in the right area. So it's right here. So I just want to do this to make sure I go over and I'm in the right area. Okay, let's continue this on. So we know we're in the right area. Okay. There. So, okay, square inches, looks like it's 1.647. Just that easy. That is the total area. Now, we can only fill it up to a certain percentage, but if the question wants the total area is the same as saying 100% of that cross-sectional area. It's essentially the same thing, right? So come back to the question. And it was 1.647. That was the total area. And there you go. Again, chapter 9, table 4. Easy questions. I know this is very common for journeyman style questions, but we're working our way up and we're getting complicated, and we will get more complicated in part 3 of this series. All right, but we're working our way up. All right, so let's go to another question. You're doing great. All right. The next question that we have is, it says rigid metal conduit, 2 trade size, or 2-inch trade size, really 2 trade size, would have a blank square inch fill for 3 conductors. You see what I'm saying? Now that remember that knowledge I gave you early on? Remember the early knowledge I gave you? Remember when I said how important it would be? This is the kind of thing now that you should start being able to just hammer these things. These are easy questions, and I would hate to see you have trouble on a journeyman's exam because you didn't think about those principles. We know we have what? We know we have over 2 conductors, okay? We've got 3, okay? Now, people will say, well, I don't, they're like, well, I don't, I don't have the values here. I can't solve this. I need to know the conductors. No, you don't. Not to solve this, you do not. If it was on TikTok, for example, people would be arguing till they're blue in the face thinking they can't solve this question. You can. What is the blank square inch fill for 3 conductors? Okay? Means you can't exceed it. For these 3 conductors, what is it? Let's go to the code. All right, it's rigid conduit, and it's 3 conductors. All right? So it wants to know what we've got. So let's go down. So this is rigid. So I'm going to take us to rigid if I can find it here. Hold on here. Rigid metal conduit right here. All right. So how many conductors we have? We have 3. So we have over 2. So we can't fill it more than 40%. All right. So what is our value for 2? Trade size 2. Well, here it is right here. Right there. There's 2. And the 40%, we want to be in the square inch column. And that would be 1.363. That is the maximum we could put in there. Even if we have 3 conductors, that's the maximum we can go. We don't have any conductor sizes. We haven't done any math. It doesn't matter. We need to know what's the value in square inches that I cannot exceed. And that's the answer. So I come back to the question. And there it is. Right there. Chapter 9, table 4. So important, these questions, to really hammer these things home and make you feel comfortable about what's going on, folks. It really is. Okay. All right. Let me bring you back to me real quick. Oh, remind you real quick, if you're interested in learning this stuff, so I can promise you in our course, you will learn this stuff. You will become so proficient with the National Electrical Code. We have students that email me every day who tell me how they learn so much in our 19 units in our Fast Tracks program. I do want to show you again where you get our program. You simply come to our website. The link is right there at the bottom, or you'll see the link, fasttracksystem.com. You'll go here under courses. You will see the Fast Tracks Black. You will see the Fast Tracks Plus. They are the same course. The only difference is the Plus, we give you access to 12 months of videos as well on our separate website, fasttrackstube.com. That's the only difference. The only difference in price is you get a year's access to that platform as well. That's the only difference, okay? You could do that right there, or you could come up to courses. And if you're in a mobile app, then all you got to do is just go to, when you get our website, all you do is scroll down to where it says test, click the test icon, and that will take you to all of the fast tracks programs that deal with exam prep. That's just an easy way to get there. You could also click the little hamburger at the top right, and that will also give you all the navigation that you need to navigate our website. Okay? It's all right there, folks. Hopefully you'll get something out of that. And so everything is right on our system. There's a lot of demos over there too. Make sure you watch the demo. There's the website. Share it with people. Get the people in your company using it. I know I sell courses and I don't like to sound like a salesperson, but I promise you, you will become a better electrician through our course. You'll be connected with me. You'll get our mobile app. You'll be able to ask questions directly through the mobile app. And shortly, I'm going exclusively to answering questions through the mobile app, so I can be of better service to our customers. I don't necessarily want to have better service to everybody else. I want to reward my customers with my dedication and loyalty. You get this app, it's free. You can always post a question, always post an image. You could be on a job site and take a picture of something and send it through the app, and I will comment on it and give you some advice. That's where we're moving, folks. I want to support you because you support me. That's what it's all about. I don't know everything, but I promise you I will pour what I know into you the best I can. All right? All right, folks, stay tuned for the next episode as we're going to get a little harder now. We're going to shift over into some master level questions, and we're going to work our way up. So whether you're a journeyman or you're taking a journeyman or you're taking a master, it doesn't matter. In my course, we don't differentiate. So even though these will be a little tougher questions, I want you to do them. I want you journeymans to do them because it's going to make you better. And that's what I'm here for. All right. Catch you in the next video. God bless.